On Monday night in Atlanta, a 40-year-old goalkeeper made 7 saves against Spain, kept a clean sheet in his country's first-ever World Cup match, and was named Player of the Match in front of the whole world. And then he stood there, still in his kit, sweat still on his face, and cried. Not from joy, not from exhaustion, because the one person he most wanted in that stadium wasn't there. His mother wasn't in the stands because she couldn't afford the visa to enter the country hosting the World Cup. A man had just delivered the greatest result in his nation's football history, and he was crying because his own mother couldn't watch him do it. FIFA said nothing. In this video, I want to show you exactly how that happened, why it didn't have to happen, and why Vozinha's mother is far from the only person this tournament has already left behind. This is not an isolated story, it is a pattern. The uncomfortable truth is that FIFA knew about this pattern before a single ball was kicked. Let's start with who Vozinha actually is, because the context here matters more than people realize. José Évora Dias was born in Mindelo, Cape Verde, on June 3, 1986. Cape Verde is an island nation off the coast of West Africa, with a population of around 550,000 people, smaller than most mid-sized American cities. Vozinha has been the country's #1 goalkeeper for 13 years. He's played at 4 Africa Cup of Nations tournaments, spending most of his career grinding through the lower divisions of Portuguese football, wearing the shirt of a country that had never once qualified for a World Cup. That changed last October when Cape Verde beat Eswatini 3-0 to book their place in history, their first ever World Cup. Vozinha, 39 at the time, finally had his moment after 13 years of waiting, and he wanted his mother there to see it. She couldn't come. After the match against Spain, Vozinha spoke to reporters. His exact words, as reported by The Athletic, were, "I cried after the game because I grew up with my grandparents when I was a kid, and they could not be there. They passed away a few years ago. My mom could not be here either for a visa issue and the money we had to pay for it. We did not manage to do this in time." Sit with that for a second. This is the player of the match at the World Cup. The man who just kept Spain, ranked 2nd in the world, off the score sheet for 90 minutes, and the visa process of the country hosting this tournament was financially out of reach for his own family. Here's the number that explains why. Cape Verde's visa rejection rate from United States consulates exceeds 40%, almost double the global average. If you're from Cape Verde applying for a US tourist visa, you have worse than a coin flip's chance of getting approved. And before any of that, the United States requires citizens of Cape Verde to post a returnable bond of up to $15,000 just to apply. $15,000 just to apply, just to watch your son play football. And Vozinha's mother is not alone, not even close. FIFA selected Somali referee Omar Artan to officiate at this World Cup. He had the right visa, the right credentials, and the right paperwork. He landed at Miami International Airport, and he was turned away at the border, classified as inadmissible over vetting concerns. A U.S. official later cited possible association with suspected members of terror organizations, a claim Artan flatly denied. He flew home to Mogadishu without refereeing a single match. Thomas Partey of Ghana had his visa denied when he tried to enter Canada. Members of Iran's Football Federation were denied entry outright. Fans from nearly 40 countries currently restricted under U.S. travel policy cannot attend matches involving their own national teams, in their own World Cup, in stadiums their countries are also helping to fill. And when Gianni Infantino was asked about visa issues before the tournament even started, he acknowledged the process had created friction for supporters and officials. He said that. And then the tournament kicked off exactly on schedule anyway. FIFA knew. They chose the United States anyway. Now here's the part that should actually make you angry. Within hours of Vozinha's interview, a GoFundMe appeared online. Target just over $11,000 to bring his mother to Cape Verde's next match against Uruguay in Miami. Strangers, ordinary people pooling money to fix a problem that FIFA and the United States government created together, and that neither one has lifted a finger to solve. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wrote directly to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, asking him personally to make sure Vozina's mother could get into the country for the next game. Think about what that sentence actually means. A senior member of the United States Congress had to personally intervene over one woman's visa because the system that was supposed to bring the world to this tournament had failed so completely that a congressional letter was the only thing left that might work. FIFA made $7.5 billion from the Qatar World Cup. They are projecting $13 billion from this one. An $11,000 GoFundMe was what it took to get a mother into the building to watch her son make history. Vozina went from 50,000 Instagram followers before that match to nearly 4 million after it. The whole world watched what he did. The whole world heard what he said when it was over. The organization that built this tournament, that chose this country, that knew the visa rejection numbers and the bond requirements and the travel restrictions going in, has not said one word about Vozina's mother. They already knew exactly who this system would leave behind. They knew fans from Africa, the Caribbean, and parts of Asia would face rejection rates that made simply showing up financially impossible. They knew that when a country like Cape Verde finally made history, a huge share of those players' own families might not even be allowed to watch it happen. They knew, and they built it anyway. And they are cashing the check anyway. A 40-year-old man delivered the best night of his career and stood there afterward in tears because the one person who raised him could not get into the room. The 2026 World Cup is happening right now. The football has already been extraordinary. Vozina against Spain is one of the moments people will remember from this entire tournament. But the people running it knew exactly who would be standing outside the gates. They built the whole thing anyway. Subscribe. There are more stories like this one, and they keep coming.